SITC fam. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on any podcast platform. Leave us a review wherever you can. And don't forget to subscribe to LL Geselle on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and find us on Facebook at Sonographers in the Cities.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Geselle.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a short break last week where we didn't post a new episode because life has been busy for both Geselle and myself. So again, thank you for tuning into this episode and other episodes. If you tuned in, we appreciate you. And your support. Yeah, we appreciate you and your support.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening. I do check the Buzzsprout to see if people are still listening, and they are. So we appreciate you guys. And life is very busy for Lynn and I. We always talk about this every time, I think, on each episode.
Definitely.
Lynn and I don't get to talk every week as much as we try to and want to. It's hard when you have a busy schedule as a sonographer and someone, who is on social media. We know you guys follow us and expect content, but as far as our content, we are not doing that full time. We are sonographers full time. And so we can't always be on social media. So we appreciate you guys who still stick around and follow us and support us. So today we're talking about expectations versus reality of being a sonographer. And that is a big picture of us being in the content creation field, but also being a sonographer in real life, because you guys followed Lynn through her life of being a student and now being a sonographer. And you guys also followed me as being a YouTuber, as well as on social media, showing my life as a sonographer. But Lynn and I want to talk about today the expectations, because we are in a point in life where there's a lot of things going on. And we want you guys to know the real and raw part of being a sonographer too. You guys are listening to our podcast, wanting to learn more, do your research as students, and even those of you who are already in the field. So we are here to talk about the reality. And this is what Lynn and I are excited to talk about, because we want you guys to see what it's truly like to be a sonographer.
Yes. And not just sonographers in general, because we are in different cities. So it is very different for both of us. And Geselle and I love talking about our experiences and just catching up every chance we get to do the podcast. And before we record, we would do a quick 30-minute catch up with our lives. So it's also an awesome part of doing this podcast.
Yeah. And even though Lynn has just started being a sonographer and I've been in the field for a while now, it's very similar to the things that we're going through. And we both still have different views because of her just joining the sonography world. But we're also both in the same path during our lives. So
Yes.
It's really cool to see that even though she's in New York, I'm in Vegas, a lot of you guys I know can relate to us too. So this is the whole meaning of this podcast and why we still do this. And just drop a comment or send us a message if you guys are resonating with our episodes. And if there's anything else you guys want to hear or for us to talk about, let us know, because we will definitely bring that onto the episodes.
Yes, definitely.
So let's just start with your expectations, since you are newer into the field, Lynn. What were your expectations of being a sonographer while you were a student? So what were you expecting to happen? Or, what was that picture that you thought would happen after you graduated?
So Just as it's like my last quarter of my program, and I was like kind of wrapping up everything with classes and getting ready to be a registered sonographer. I expected to, I expected like a big learning curve, like when you get a job and then just have to learn for quite a while to do the protocols, like get to know the team, get to know your workplace, get settled into before you're really comfortable with like all the exams that you have to do. And those are what I expected, but I also expected like some rainbows and sunshines, like a little less stress from school, if you know what I mean. It's just like
Yeah.
you just work and you're struggling at work, but you're working and then it's just um, working full time. My reality check was that the work dynamics, I did a post on this expectations versus reality. And, you know, certain things I didn't expect was a work dynamic that already existed before I even joined. Um, that's between like coworkers and coworkers and with other departments or between the doctors and the technologists. The dynamic is very different depending on where you work. And you thought you could work like side by side with the doctors, but some doctors are kind of like condescending and they think everyone is beneath them because they're doctors, you know.
Mhm.
So there are people like that, unfortunately, and that's what you have to deal with. Or patients, that's to be expected because patients are there for a reason and not all of them are happy because they're in pain. So and just how you're told to like handle those situations is very different. Like I don't know, it's just like a lot of feedbacks I get is really doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. And then I don't know, just I think it's more exhausting than going to school. The stress is different. It's nice to be paid. And I'm trying to think what else. It's been a long day at work. I
Which
think it's just a lot in my personal life too that's affecting my work life because I work 10 hours a day now. And I find that I don't have time to do chores at home or to clean my apartment or to do grocery shopping. So it's the time management of that makes it a little bit challenging post grad. Just trying to adjust the work hours with the my personal life's responsibility as well as um adjusting to learn and be better at work. It's just a heavy load every single day.
mm,
So that's my quick spiel.
yeah. No, it's good that you share that because I'm sure a lot of new grads feel the same way. Even senior techs, I'm sure they feel the same way too.
What about
Um,
you? Like what was how was it for you when you first started?
um, I mean, it's crazy because when I think about it, obviously, everybody's experience will be different
Yeah.
from when they graduate. If they work at their clinical site,
Hmm.
or if they go somewhere completely different than where their clinicals were. Because many people are lucky to get a job right away at their clinical site. And then many people aren't able to get a job at their clinical site. So they have to find something somewhere else. For
Yeah.
me, my expectations, graduating, I remember just thinking, okay, now I'm going to get a job, make money, and then I'm gonna, I don't know, get married, get a house, have
Hmm.
kids right away, blah, blah, blah. It's 6 years later. And obviously none of that stuff has happened. I got a job, but that's all, that kind of
Yeah.
not came from it, but everyone's personal lives are different.
Mhm.
So my expectations, of the job itself are a little bit different because I went from somewhere that I was very comfortable with, my clinical site, to working at other places I was uncomfortable at because, right, you're a new grad,
Mhm.
don't really know what to expect, expectations versus reality. So I kind of was thrown in to ultrasound at my job without any training and basically just kind of like fly little bird at a new place. And you would think being a new grad, getting a new job, that they would give you some adequate training. And for me at that time, didn't get that from where I worked at. Um, Honestly, I think it made me grow as a sonographer faster because you would think that they would train you for weeks, right?
Mhm.
No, the place that I worked at maybe gave me training for a day or two. And I was kind of left for figure it out on your own. So because I went through that, that was my reality as a new grad sonographer, and I had to learn things on the fly by making mistakes. And I know that students want to graduate and honestly try to not make any mistakes, but the way that you learn is making those mistakes. And
Definitely.
obviously, we talk about learn as much as you can so you don't make mistakes because it's
Mm.
scary to make mistakes. But what I'm saying, mistakes as far as like what radiologists expect from you or what doctors and nurses are expecting from you. And you're just learning as a new grad, trying to figure out how to work there. So the reality was, I still had a lot to learn as a new grad. And that's why me, 5, 6 years later down the road, I pretty much, sorry, my phone, I should turn this off. So 5, 6 years down the line, all of those mistakes that I made before are why I am now better at my job and how I have the experience that I have now. So, expectations versus reality. I want you guys to have that expectation that you are going to get a great job and do well at your job. But the reality is that you may not get a great job right away
Mhm.
and you're going to have to struggle in the beginning to get better. And it's okay to go through that. We all go through that and you won't be comfortable until you are at a place for a long time and you learn the ways of the place and the doctors and the nurses. The patients is one thing. Everywhere you go, everywhere you work, the patients that you have kind of defines your day. And
Definitely.
yeah, the patients that you have defines your day, as well as the doctors or radiologists that you're working with defines your day. So every day
Mhm.
is different. You can't expect to go into a job and have a grand old dandy day every single day. And that's what we want people to know is in this field, they make it look easy on social media.
Mhm.
Um, People make it look like a stress-free job, but really, if I have a stress-free day, that is once in a blue moon, and I'd be super duper happy. Which don't get me wrong, I love my job. I love being a sonographer. So that makes it that much easier to be a sonographer, but every day is hard. And I want you guys to know your expectations of getting a job and it all being so perfectly going well, that expectation is not real. Reality is the job is hard, there is a lot of stress, and then balancing your work life and then personal life is hard. So
Yeah.
that's what we're here to tell you guys. And we want you guys to have positive attitudes and just know that that's what's coming your way. But with your positive attitudes and, being grateful that you have this career that you do love, that you do want to keep on improving at and be better at every single day, that's what helps you get through those hard days. Because, yeah, Lynn, you had a very hard day today, I'm sure.
Yes, we had a patient. It was the first thing in the morning. The patient came in and she was in talked nonstop, and everything that she said was either insults or very disrespectful to
Mhm,
me and to my coworker. And we had to endure it for an hour. And that sets the tone for our day. So
mhm,
what you said about patience affects how patience affects your day, they do, and how doctors or radiologists like act towards you or how whatever mood they're in. Like we would have our doctor who was feeling moody one day and started sending passive aggressive hate emails to everyone
mhm.
on like nitpicking their mistakes and all like petty messages. That also affects our day. And yeah. And in addition to that, I think you said about us being, on social media, because that is our hobby. It's not, we don't do it full time, like Giselle said. So on top of the stress at work and what's going on with our personal lives and trying to keep up with social media, because I can speak for both Giselle and myself. Like we love doing what we do. We love being on social media, raising awareness for ultrasound. But because our lives are so busy at the moment, I feel like our social medias are either on hold or just consist of our personal lives. But that said, expectations versus reality. I feel like everyone gets a reality check once in their life, especially in sonography, it's right after or as a new grad, because you don't know what job you like the most. You don't know where you like to work the most until you've started one place and then you find that it works for you or it doesn't work for you. And then you try to find a different place, different specialty. You never know.
It's
Like I still don't know.
Yeah, it's a constant. If you want something stable, like a stable
Hmm.
career, of course, healthcare is very stable,
Yes.
but then it goes to show like, okay, there's so many different factors. Some places are so much busier than others. You
Hmm.
might realize you actually like outpatient more than um, inpatient. You'd rather be at a hospital versus a clinic. um, there's a lot of different opportunities for you to find something else or somewhere else to work. So, yes, it's a great career to go into, but there are so many different factors than just, you know, scanning babies or just
Yes.
scanning in general.
Yes.
Because obviously we have our cardiac, our vascular,
Hmm.
our doctor's offices. But even on top of all of those things, there's also the reality of your expectation of being the best sonographer, taking the best images, getting all those perfect things that you got while you were in school, scanning your classmates, scanning um, people who are easy to scan versus the reality of scanning people in hospitals that are ventilated, or you're wearing a PAPR, which is a big thing that goes over your head and you have to scan wearing one of those,
Right.
or scanning patients who have a broken arm, but they want to look at the veins, or kiddos who are vomiting or don't want you to touch them. And how do you scan that patient? So there are all those different things that make the reality of being a sonographer so much more difficult on top of everything
Everything
surrounding
else.
that. Yeah. So we want you guys to know that ultrasound is amazing. It's a great tool. It's awesome. We love being able to be sonographers, but it does come with a lot of different things. And there's a lot of things you guys should know because I didn't know that stuff when I was going into becoming a
I didn't
sonographer.
either.
Yeah, I had no idea that there were procedures that we had to do. I had no idea that we had to do um, drain fluid from people's bellies and their chests. And I'm sure
Mhm.
if people realized that, they wouldn't have gone into the hospital setting or things like that, which you don't have to. You could work in an outpatient setting. Some outpatient settings do those procedures, but it all comes down to yes, you'll have those expectations of being a sonographer, like maybe it's low stress, but to be honest, I would not call this job a low stress job
No.
like how other people say on social media.
Yeah.
Um, Even the OBGYN offices where people consider it to be low stress, it's still high stress because you're dealing with, moms and then sometimes their family members.
Mhm.
And still you're dealing with doctors or difficulties, patients being backed up, patients being late. You'd think that patients would come on time. No, they don't
Mm.
typically come on time. Do you think patients come with full bladders when they're supposed to come with full bladders? No. And then they mess up your whole day. Or you get a wrong order for a patient. That happens so many times.
Mhm.
Patients showing up on different days, cancellations. There's so many things and factors that make the reality of this job being harder than what you would think it would be.
I was also thinking another factor that's like definitely as a new grad that I've been focusing a lot on is like there's time limits for all protocols for all exams. And as a new grad, you take a little bit more time when you first start. And that's one of the things skills you need to work on as a new grad is your speed. And if you work in outpatients, they definitely have a time limit because every patient is booked depending on the was it the criteria for the facilities was is it 50 every 15 minutes for an exam or is it every 30 minutes, and that adds to the pressure of everything else that you have to focus on. Like now you have to work on your speed to make and work on your speed while get good images and giving high quality patient care and doing that with difficult patients and doctors breathing down your neck or like getting wrong orders, just all that just adds up and up and up. So yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah, the reality
But
sounds brutal, but
yeah, but
it's
if
worth
you
it.
love it, yes, if you love it and it's fun, you make it how you see it, I guess. Like we
Like,
like it.
yeah.
Um there are hard days, but in the end we have passion for ultrasound. We love sonography. That's why we do what we do. That's why Giselle and I love talking about it.
Mhm.
And we love talking about the reality of being a sonographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hope.
it's interesting because I think people see it too, right, on social
Mhm.
media. Now with like short form content, people
Yes.
will say in like 10, 15 seconds what they basically don't like about ultrasound or what makes their day hard.
Mhm.
Versus before, I feel like people never shared that before. I think people never shared the difficulties of it. And so now when people are speaking up about it and sharing the hardships that we go through as sonographers, it opens future sonographers' eyes to see, okay, it's not all just easy. It's not all just simple. I mean, if you look at an ultrasound machine, there's a million buttons on it, and you guys are gonna have to know how to use that
Yes.
and how to make your image better for the doctor. So it is a lot, but when you're having that passion or when you're excited to do something, just like anything else in life, if there's something that you really want, you really like it, you really want to do it, there's no limit to what you can learn and get better at. And even though I've been doing this for a while, which is not even that long, there's people who've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 plus years, still loving what they
Yes.
do. That goes to show that this career is a long-term career, as long as you take care of your bodies, because
Yes.
we didn't even talk about that reality where you're
Mhm.
in pain a lot of the times,
Mhm.
which we always know is the number one thing sonographers are scanning in pain. Um, those are things that we as sonographers know, but we still do this because we love the job, if that
Yes.
makes sense. Because obviously, if sonographers don't like their job, they will just go find another job and go do something
Mhm.
else in the field. But there are a lot of people who have stayed in this field for over 20 years, and technology keeps changing and growing and getting better and better. Actually, this weekend, when you guys are listening to this, I'll be at the AIUM conference.
Yes.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are there this weekend or upcoming week, say hi. I was trying to get Lynn to go, but she can't.
The fees are expensive.
Yeah, yeah, they are expensive. So, I mean, at least we can talk about it next
Mhm.
time when I talk
You
to
get
you.
back and you can share to us all about the conference
I'm
and
excited
what your
because
experience is.
it'll be my first one.
Are you
Like,
there for the entire time?
I'll be there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I leave
So
Wednesday.
basically, most of the time,
Yeah, most of the time.
4 out of 5 days.
Yeah, because Wednesday is the last day, but I'll
Yeah.
be gone at that point. But I'm excited. I know that there's actually gonna be a few other people there. Sono Eyes Ultrasound, who we talk about and
Yes.
promote too. She'll be there, as well as Natalie. She's the one that makes all those funny TikToks. I don't know if you guys have seen her TikToks, but she's very popular on Instagram. Yeah, and I'm excited to meet a bunch of people. So if you guys are out there, say hi.
Yes. And I believe that wraps up today's episode. Before we say goodbye until next time, I would like to congratulate Giselle on her engagement. We are now fiancés together. If you're watching this, you haven't seen her ring, when she's talking with her hands. Show us your ring.
Yes. Oh,
Yay!
show us your ring. Look at us. Oh my goodness. Yay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's
Yes.
it's it's a crazy wild year for you and I both.
Yeah, it's so crazy that we're going through same thing at the same time.
Yeah, we are.
It's surreal.
I
And I still have yet to meet you.
know. One day,
Yes,
but we're
maybe your
definitely,
wedding.
yeah, you never know. We're going through life together.
Yes.
And also with you all. So yeah, we appreciate you guys listening and supporting us from the very
Yes, our
beginning.
baby podcast is still a baby,
It's still baby, still
forever a
growing.
baby. It's
Still
it's
growing.
growing, but I feel like it's always a baby podcast to us.
I know. It's our baby. And
Yeah, it is.
honestly, as we keep growing, as you know, Lynn and I both grow in our fields, and in life in general, we're hoping that it just gets better and better. And we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to leave those reviews, five
Yes.
stars, follow us anywhere you find us, Instagram, Facebook, join the Discord, or um subscribe on YouTube. And
Yes.
we'll still be here. We are still here. We're just working hard in our personal lives. So
We'll get to you soon.
we'll get to you soon. And there's a few people actually that have reached out. So we're going to get some of them onto the podcast as well as share some cool stuff in the future that's coming out. So yeah,
Yes.
you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Yes. It's been real.
It's been
Because we
real.
talked about reality today.
That's a good one.
Um, yeah, I just thought of that in my mind.
It's been real.
All right.
Talk to you guys soon.
Yes, talk to you guys soon. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for connecting through sounds with us. We appreciate you and can't wait to connect with you again next time.